Hey y'all, and welcome back to another review on the channel. This review, as you guys are seeing with the footage in the background, we're going to be talking about the fast-paced racer Z-Race. And all the stuff in the back is not my gameplay like the reviews typically are. Instead, this is the gameplay trailers and such that the devs had put onto YouTube. They allowed me to use it, so thank you very much on that, because my PC can play it, but I cannot record it without it looking choppy. But let's get into it. I've played enough of this game to get my thoughts together, but I'll be 100% going back to play this game again because it's really fun. With that sentence alone, you can obviously tell that I enjoy the game. It gives the feeling of like the old futuristic looking racers from the N64 and other 90s consoles, and it's great. And then even more immersion into it, you can just get sucked into it a lot more because of being in VR. Now, if this is your first time onto the channel or you've seen my other reviews, you know my main lookout with all these games, especially for VR, is accessibility. And there are some good things and some things that I have some ideas for maybe improving the accessibility for this game. And we're going to start off with the good and kind of cool things that kind of are they fit already with this game. You completely control your ship with just your arm and your hand. That's it. That's how you control, and it's actually amazing. It's really well done. I like it. You just lean your arm until, just move your wrist in the direction of that the track goes while holding down the trigger on whichever controller you choose, and yeah, you just go. And speaking of the controller you choose or the controller of choice, whichever trigger you press down in like the main start menu of the game, that is going to be your dominant hand, which is typically just an option in other games. Which is, it's really cool when they just do it right out the gate. You just gotta make sure you're paying attention to which one you hit on the menu. But yeah, that's great. Now, the things I'll get into. The other thing that is definitely good about this game is if you cannot stand, I myself can also not stand on my own 2 feet, you're not out of luck with this game because it does have a seated play mode. It's not an option, just sit in a chair, there you go. You're able to play the game. It's perfect like that. However, this is when I get kind of into the things that I have some ideas to maybe tweak a little bit. You do need to have 360 degrees of motion, meaning a standard chair, or in my case, and definitely that of many others, a wheelchair is not going to work out too well, as you need to be able to turn at a good speed. From my almost 3 decades of experience, you can't turn too quick with a wheelchair. But so that kind of hinders things. You'll need like an office chair or some other type of swivel chair to get the best experience out of this game. It's going to be your best bet. Now, with that said, I am fortunate enough to be able to get out of my wheelchair and play VR on my knees, which is how I can play Z-Race with no real issue, and that's also kind of how I play a lot of other VR games, at least for a short amount of time. But I do know that for many, that is not anywhere near a possibility. And with that being said, I have some ideas for the dev, Zocus. Is that how you say it? Devs, if you're watching, let me know. I'm going to feel bad if I misbutchered your name. But, yeah, I have some ideas to help make the game more accessible to those that might not be able to use an office chair or some other swivel chair and can't stand in any way. The first and main idea that really popped into my head when playing is to have an option in the game to let you rotate the camera with the stick of the dominant hand's controller. Now, like, you can, by turning your head, you can turn the camera in the game already. But if you cannot fully turn because you're in a standard chair or wheelchair, the ability to maybe with that dominant hand, let's say it's your left hand or your right hand, you're holding down the trigger to make your vehicle go, you're using your arm, you're doing this, you're doing that, but also just a little bit of movement with the stick to help rotate the camera the rest of the way, because otherwise you're gonna be in a world of hurt. You're not gonna get too far. I have messed with trying to play this in my chair. It's a no-go. This kind of option would really be good if it could be put into the game. Or, and this was my other idea that I was just able to think of while playing, how about a mix where seated play is a option that you can actually toggle in the menu, in the options menu, and it'll make it so that if you toggle that, like, you don't have to if you don't need it, and the game can still be played. But if you toggle it, then the game automatically will control the camera. All you do is control the ship with your arm and make the motions of the way that it needs to go, like you do already, but the game takes care of the rest. Almost as if the camera was just attached to the ship, and, so it just went based on wherever the ship was going. I don't know how easy either of these ideas that I've given would be. I am not a game dev. I've never made anything even close to that of a game. That some of this stuff might be impossible, I have no idea. But I figured I would mention them, and hey, possibility that if the devs do see this video and hear these, that they might do it. Or at least maybe try. The game is in early access, so it still is being worked on. And yeah, it would be very great to see one or possibly both of these options, or some mix in between, just to up that accessibility so more people can play and enjoy. Because this game's a lot of fun. Especially if you like racing games. It's a lot of fun. So, hopefully, never know, fingers crossed. But, yeah, that's going to do it for the end of this review. The game is great. 100%. Right now, it is only on PC through Steam VR. I probably should have said that at the beginning of this, but whatever. But yeah, it's It's so much fun. And if whether you have PC VR headset or you have the Quest and you use a Link or you're using virtual desktop, um, this game seems to handle like a dream. I was playing it through virtual desktop and it was great. But yeah, give it a chance if you want to play it, if it sounds really cool. And if it sounds cool but you can't play it right now because of how I described you need to play it, keep an eye on it. Maybe some changes will get made or options added to make it so you can play it. But yeah, see you guys in the next one.